Welcome everyone. Today we learn about sampling, sampling frame, errors in statistics, and types of sampling. So what is sampling? So sampling is the process of selecting a subset from the population. Right? So if I have suppose example, I want to learn about students in a school, right? And from all the students I take out, suppose there are 2000 students in school, I take out only 50 students to study about them, right? So this 50 is a subset of entire population in the school, which is 2000. So this is called uh, sampling. Another example could be I want to maybe learn about salary of employees in a company. There are total 50,000 employees in the company, and out of these 50,000 I take out a sample of maybe 1000 employees. So this becomes a subset of the population, or is also called as sample. So there's about sample. Then sampling frame. So sampling frame is from this particular school. Maybe to select these 50 students, I can still select a subset from where I'll choose these 50 students. Like suppose I'll say I will go to only maybe uh, third floor of the school, right? And from third floor I will select a set of 50 students, right? So this sample has been taken out only from third floor. So if there are 3 floors in the school, first, second and third, I chose only the third floor to select my sample. First and second I left, right? So this is called your sampling frame. So third floor is your sampling frame, right? The sampling frame may have its own problem. It may underrepresent the population. Suppose there were many students have sent on third floor, right? So it could misrepresent the population. Suppose there could be another example of sampling frame could be like I have a company which runs in shifts, right? So there are two shifts, day shift, and there is night shift, right? What I do is I want to take out some employees, 1000 employees sample from the company, and I'll say okay, I'll go in the daytime during day shift time and choose 1000 employees. Now what is happening is this sampling frame might be underrepresenting the population. Why? Because there are some employees who work in the night shift and will not be found during the day shift. So this is like underestimation or maybe underrepresentation of the population, right? So this could be a there could be a problem in the list that you select for the sampling frame, right? So these problems we need to take care of while taking a sampling frame to get sample from it. Now we'll talk about sampling errors. What all errors or errors in statistics? What all errors we can encounter in statistics? So the first error is sampling error, right? So error arising because we are taking a sample. That sample may not represent the population. Reasons could be the size is very small, or our sampling was not random, it was biased, or it could be a non-representative sample. I've taken a sample which doesn't even represent my population, right? So there could be two things that may happen in population representation is either the mean of the sample is not same as mean of the population, or the percentage or the ratio of the population is not same as samples percentage. So the sample is not representing my population, right? This error can't be avoided, but the thing that we can do is take a bigger sample size, right? So by increasing the sample size, these errors could be minimized. We can't totally avoid these errors, but We can minimize them by taking a proper sampling technique, by adopting a proper sampling technique or taking a bigger sample, right? Second type of error that we have in statistics is non-sampling errors, right? These are very dangerous errors, right? Mostly because of the manual errors we have, and we should try to avoid these errors in our studies, right? So sampling errors are errors not related to sample size. These can occur even in a complete census also. In the population also we may. One is response error, right? So some people have not given response at all. It could be same as, right? I went and interviewed the employees in the daytime, but there is day shift, night shift as well, right? So some, and second thing could be, even if people respond, they will give you wrong answers, right? Like for an example, I went for a cashew nut market survey for a company during my MBA, right? So we went to the households and asked their daily or maybe weekly consumption of cashew nuts. So we were taking the answer, and so on the faces of few of the respondent, I could make out that they are just telling some amount because we are asking, right? So they didn't want to tell that we don't buy it regularly, but they gave some like I buy 200 grams in a week, I buy 500 grams in a week. But from their face, I could make out that they are actually giving wrong response. They generally regularly don't buy, right? So this could be, there could be the response error from the respondent or the sample itself, right? Second is non-response error, right? People fail to respond. Like I've sent email to 500 people, right? And out of 500, only 200 have responded, right? And 300 failed to respond. They did not see the email, or maybe they didn't want to respond, right? Third could be measurement error, right? So measurement error could be like my questions are not correct enough to measure what I want to, right? So questionnaire design could be a question, right? And if it is about instruments and all, maybe length, breadth of something, maybe the product design, product size that I'm taking, the instrument itself could be faulty, right? Fourth could be the processing error, right? So processing error could be manual, like I'm doing a data entry and data entry operator made the wrong entry there, right? So the value was female, but the data entry operator by mistake put male, right? There could be coding mistakes as well while doing the calculations on the data too, right? And these non-sampling errors are considered very dangerous, right? So we should try to avoid making these non-sampling errors, right? So this was all about sampling, right? Now we will get into types of sampling, right? So let me go one by one into the types of sampling that we may have, right? Types of sampling, right? The first type is simple random sampling. Simple random sampling, right? So what do? We take a sampling frame, right? And from that frame, right, we randomly select, maybe suppose there is a population of 10,000, right? Out of 10,000, I take a sampling frame of maybe 500 people. From this 500, I randomly select 50. So what do you mean by simple random sampling is, suppose I have maybe 5 people. From these 5, I want to select a sample of 3. So the option with me could be, one sample could be 1, 2, 3, another could be 2, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, another one could be 3, 4, 5, another one could be 1, 3 and 5, another one could be uh, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 5, and 1, 2 and 4, and then 1, 2 and 5, and then I can have 2, 3 and 5, and so on, right? So we can make, suppose these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So we can make 7. So suppose these are the choices that we can make of total number of samples that we can take. Now we should select in such a way that every sample should have equal chances of getting selected in the sampling process, right? So every sample, so we should select randomly in such a way that every sample which is possible from this population has equal chances of getting selected, right? So they have equal chances of being selected as a sample from the population. So this is called simple random sampling, right? So this can be easily achieved by, suppose I have maybe a number of people, 1,000 employees, right? So what I can do is I can give them some IDs or maybe employee IDs. These IDs I can put it in a software and I can ask the software to randomly select 500 employee IDs, and I can based on that I can select 500 people, right? Second sampling type is stratified sampling. Stratified sampling, right? So strata means layers, right? So what do I do is I divide my population into different layers, maybe based on, suppose, age, maybe based on their educational qualification, right? It could be maybe based on education level. Then we may have based on section in a school, right? So we have different sections, A, B, C, D, and so on, right? And different classes maybe in a society, like high, medium, low income societies, right? So these are layers, right? So I can layer my data by any of these criterias or maybe anything else that you may have, and then from each layer, suppose I say age, so I will say 0 to 10, age 10 to 20 years, 20 to 30 years, and 30 plus. So I have these layers, 1, 2, so entire population is being divided into this, and from each layer or strata, these are called layers or strata, from each layer I randomly select samples. So maybe 50-50 from each I select, and I make a total sample of all these put together will give me a sample of 200 people as a sample, right? So this 200 is my sample. How did I do it? I first decided to have the layers of the population into age groups, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and 30 plus, and from those groups then I took out some samples, right? And then putting them all together became my single sample, right? So this is called stratified sampling. Next type of sampling is systematic sampling. So systematic sampling, right? So this can be maybe explained well with the help of steps that are being followed. So what do we need to do is we need to first arrange my population into an order. Arrange in the population in an order. Maybe we can give them IDs, and based on increasing ID numbers, we can select the we can order the population. Second is pick a random object or individual from the population. From the population, right? And from that person, you can pick every nth person or object. Right? So what do let me explain. So suppose I've given IDs to my population as 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and so on and so on, and there are 10,000 people. So 10,000 IDs I've given as 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Randomly I select this person, and from there every third person, first, second and third, first, second and third, and so on. I keep on selecting every third person. So first place I select randomly, and from there every third person I select for my sample. So after 11 it will be 14 and 17 and 20 and so on, right? So this is called systematic sampling. I have a system, I order my population, right? Then select first one at random, right? After selecting the first at random, every nth item from the list, right? This nth could be anything that you decide, right? But first person selection is random, right? So this is called systematic sampling, right? Next type of sampling is cluster sampling. Right, so cluster is because of some geographical thing, right? So I have some geographical importance in my data, then I go for cluster sampling. Suppose I say Delhi, right? Delhi has a lot of pollution, right? So I'm talking about cities with highest pollution, right? So I will have to decide India and break them up into cities, right? So I want to maybe study about Delhi, how much is the pollution there, right? So I will have to break my population of India only into Delhi, geographical area of Delhi, and then I can go inside Delhi, take some samples for my studies related to pollution, right? So geography is of utmost important for this type, right? So what do? We map the things, right? So suppose there is a pollution coming from some factory, right? So there is a factory which is leading to pollution, right? Now I want to maybe study about the effect of the pollution from this industry, right? So I cannot go miles and miles away from this factory to do the study. I will have to choose area around that factory only, right? So what do? From my total map, I just bring down my population only to the some kilometers or some miles from that factory, right? Rest all I leave it. This population is of no importance for me because they are not near to the factory. So these are four types of sampling types, right? So these are four types of sampling, right? So just quickly recap, what did we do or learn in this one was, what is sampling, right? What is sampling frame, right? And what type of errors we can encounter in statistics and how to avoid them, and then types of sampling, right? So keep watching my videos to get into deeper into basics of statistics, right? We'll be going from statistics towards machine learning, analytics, and we'll also get into deep learning, and then we'll get into AI, right? Keep watching. Thank you.